you're going to notice some things right off the bat. This isn't going to be one of those professional YouTube cooking videos.
My cutting board is very old, and I have to use a plate instead.
And I don't have a chef's knife. We really never had like chef's knives growing up. My mom always just used like a steak knife or a paring knife. So I don't know if it's like an Italian thing or it's just like my family thing. Let me know in the comments. So anyway, we got the onions. We're going to add a tablespoon of butter to a pan. And right now we're just going to saute the onions, let them sweat. And we want to caramelize the onions. This is going to take a while, so you want to do the onions first. So expect them to cook for about, I don't know, like 45 minutes to like an hour. And the trick here is just like low and slow. And then I'll put the lid on the pan, leave it on there for about 10 minutes, just to speed up the cooking process and get the onions a nice translucent texture. So next we're going to add a half a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and then we're going to also add 2 teaspoons of sugar, and we're also going to add a tablespoon of water every now and then during the cooking process, because the onions are going to dry out if you don't. So I like to tenderize the steak right in the package so it doesn't make a mess in the kitchen. You want to pat the steak dry before you season it. I use a salt and pepper rub. You can add other things to it, but I like to keep it simple. A teaspoon of salt and a good half teaspoon of pepper. Don't be worried about over salting it because a lot of it's going to get lost in the pan. Now to get a nice sear on the steaks, you want to put the oil in and get the temperature nice and hot, so put the burner up to high. And you want to make sure that you put enough oil in to fully coat the bottom of the pan, because if you don't, then the steaks are going to stick. And try not to move it too much like I did. Just watch for the oil, because sometimes it pops up. And then we put the butter in. And so I actually learned this by watching Gordon Ramsay on YouTube. So it's pretty cool. You actually baste the steak with the butter. And don't be afraid of actually lifting the pan, because this is what you're going to have to do throughout the cooking process. You're going to have to constantly monitor the heat. Because if you just leave it on the burner, the steak is going to overcook. That's what I found. Gordon Ramsay also used rosemary, and I think it tastes really good on steak. So yeah, you're just going to keep basting it. So you want 3 to 4 minutes each side for medium rare. That's how I like to cook it. So if you've been paying attention, you can see that I forgot to season the other side. No big deal, I just flipped it over and seasoned it. And I tend not to use a lot of salt. If a recipe calls for X amount, I'll just like use 75% or like half that amount, and I find that's fine. And I use salted butter anyway, so I think that gives it, extra seasoning. Initially it was a little too rare, so I had to cook it a little bit more, and now I think I got a little bit medium, so this is an acceptable range for me. It's not too well done. I think this is pretty good. Still pink inside, which I like. It's a nice color, and it's tender. And yeah, it was just a little bit tricky because it was thicker in some areas. But the more I cook steak, I think I'm getting better at it. Caramelized onions have a really good balance of savory and sweetness, and it goes really good with the steak. As always, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.